Business owners, they are doers. They like to do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. They like to be involved and put hands on everything. Okay. Do you know the value of a client to you? Time blocking can be a game changer because one of the problems we have nowadays is distractions. But knowing how to delegate is very important.
Yeah.
What is your ideal client? Oh, everyone. Yeah, well, everyone is not your ideal client.
Yeah, exactly.
Their problems, their pains are different, isn't it? So you need to address their pains, their problems in a different way. When the companies that they do that, the companies that understand that they bring the technology, then they save a lot of time and money. But when you do the delegation properly, you feel that you still are in control. Business owners, they come to me and say, oh, no, I need to implement a CRM. And the first thing I ask is why? Marketing can be a great asset for sales, and sales can benefit a lot from what marketing does, and the other way around. The business owner should be a facilitator, not a doer. So if you run multiple business, you need to be a master in delegation. You need to be very comfortable with delegation. So for me, there's one key thing that is common to anyone that is successful.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of MECast. Today we've got Nuno Soares, Amazon best-selling author, owner of Lifeshifter Coaching, and also owner of Sirenci Candles. So Nuno, welcome.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
How's it been? Obviously we've known each other for a while, but we haven't seen each other for a long time.
No.
So yeah.
Yes, a lot of things going on since we saw each other. So you work with me.
So that's the link that came from before. I used to work with Nuno at a company called TechWise. So that's the original link. Yeah. Obviously you're on to different things now, completely different.
I am. I'm not sure if it's completely different. So now I'm a business coach, isn't it? So I used to be an IT consultant, so there's a lot of overlapping. So I'm pivoting, but I'm not pivoting completely. So it's still related with what I do. I still work with business owners. There's also a lot of technology involved on what I do. So I help business owners to be a little bit more productive and efficient. So it is a little bit similar to what I do, a little bit.
So for the benefit of the audience, I guess the first thing we should talk about is how you got to this point, your journey so far in the world of business. So I think that'd be quite good to go through first.
Yeah, of course. Well, I started working 30-something years ago. When I started in my 20s, I was a computer programmer, so a proper geek. I've loved computers and programming. And then I was quite lucky in the beginning of the 90s. I got a job on a big company in Portugal. And that was 93. And, that was the explosion of the IT in the corporate. So when I joined the company, we had like 20 computers, and in the next 3 years I joined, we went from those 20 to 1,500 computers. So it was a massive growth, and because I was on the right time, on the right place, I become the help desk manager of the company. So that's when I pivot into more the help desk side of IT, and I stopped doing programming. So I worked on that company for 8 years. And then I decided that I was fed up of the corporate world. And I was crazy enough to quit my job and start my first company. Okay. So I was very naive, because I was a very good technician, but I didn't know nothing about business. Yes. So that was a huge learning curve for me. So I made a lot of mistakes, but I managed to have some success. I grew the business. I had 12 people working for me, €750,000 euros turnover. So things were going okay-ish, I think. But then, unfortunately, Portugal suffered a lot with the financial crisis, 2006, 2008, and things started getting a little bit not great for me, and I had to almost shut down the company.
Yeah.
Then in 2010, I moved away from Portugal. I moved to the UK. I got a couple of jobs in IT in Cambridge just to, get my feet down. And then in 2012, I started Clear IT.
Yeah.
Which you joined a few years later. I started Clear IT with 0 clients, a laptop and an iPhone, cloud services, and I grew the company to a nice size. And then in 2021, I think, I merged the Clear IT with TechWise. And then this year I sold my shares on TechWise, and then I decided to pivot into business coaching.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So you're pretty well placed because you've done a lot of businesses and different kinds of businesses to talk on the subject of business coaching, haven't you? So tell us a little bit about life coach.
So I've been a business owner myself, isn't it? So I've been in the shoes of a business of a business owner. So I understand what it is, working 80 hours per week, have to do other things that is not just your job, isn't it? You need to understand finances, you need to understand sales, marketing. So that I think it puts me in a good position to be a business coach. So it's not just theory. Yes, of course, I've done some certifications in business coach throughout this year. So I have my badges, but having the experience of running multiple companies, also in different countries, so different cultures, different people, I think that gives me, a quite good variety of experience that I can lean on and try to help other business owners to not do the same mistakes I've done.
Yeah. So obviously you did pivot into marketing and sales at some point when you were at Clear IT. So what kind of learnings have you taken from your time in marketing and sales that you can apply to business coaching?
Yeah. So one of the things that I've learned is usually business owners, they're not big fans of sales and marketing because most of them, they come from a technical background. So they always look at marketing and sales, something that is a little bit alien for them. It's, I don't like to sell. I don't like to do marketing or all that stuff. But the problem is the business owner is the best person to sell your business.
Because they know the ideas, don't they?
Exactly. So, and that was the bit that interested me because I didn't know much about it, but I'm quite curious person. So that for me was, I need to learn more about this because I know that I'm the best salesman in my company. So if I learn about marketing and sales, then I will be a better salesperson. So that's when I started tapping into marketing and sales. And look, it's fundamental for you to grow your business. If you really want to grow your business, the business owner needs to understand marketing and sales. And especially more marketing, to be honest, than sales. Because marketing is what makes your possible clients be aware of what you do and is the top of the funnel, isn't it? Is when you attract people to know you and to understand you and to see what do you do and help them to decide if they really want to work with you or not.
Because at the end of the day, once you get the phone call or you get the email, then you know what you're talking about at that point. You can sell the product. That's kind of the easier bit, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
It's getting people to do that. So understanding marketing is important.
Exactly. And another thing that I think for me is extremely important, especially nowadays, is I don't believe that outbound is working anymore. I believe more in inbound marketing. So because there's a lot of things that change. People change their behavior and the way they buy from you. So picking up the phone and try to call someone to try to sell your business is way more difficult than it was a few years ago. But the opposite is easier. So if you have a good marketing, if you have good content, if you are out there and if people can find you, then they will they will understand you and they will reach to you because you match what they need. So hence I think marketing is fundamental for business owners to understand.
So just touching back on the marketing side of it, when business owners come to you, do they come to you asking, well, how do I get more sales and how do I work this kind of thing? What's one of the first things you say to them?
Yes, so that is the biggest struggle in companies, isn't it? Is generating new clients. They want to increase their revenue.
Yeah.
Okay. And normally they come to me, I want to increase my revenue by X amount of money. And I say, okay, that's very well. So the first thing I ask to them is how much a new client or a client values to you. Okay. Do you know the value of a client to you? And most of the times they don't know. So if you don't know how much a client values to you, how do you want to bridge that gap?
Yeah.
You need to know how much a client values to you so that you can then calculate how many clients do you need to bridge that gap. Okay. Yeah. And that normally is the beginning of a bigger conversation, that is understanding their existing clients.
Yeah.
Which most of them, they don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Because most of business owners, when you ask them, what is your ideal client? Oh, everyone. Yeah, well, everyone is not your ideal client.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So your target is not your market. You need to nail down your target, and then your market will come to you. And when you say these things to them, it's like they don't get it. But
I want to sell to everyone.
Yeah, I sell to everyone. I work with any industry, with any size of business. Yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. But how are you going to communicate with your possible clients? Yeah. You need to be specific. You need to, let's imagine that you have accountants and lawyers and manufacturing as your clients. You need to start with one of them.
Yeah.
So start talking for accountants, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are going to attract accountants and probably financial advisors and I don't know, wealth manager people, maybe some lawyers, because you are being specific. And when you are being specific, you attract those other people around. And another thing that it's sometimes confusing for them is they don't understand, or in the beginning they are a little bit, okay, that makes sense, but I want to work with more. It's fine. You create another avatar for other industries, and then you message, you target these
your positioning is going to be completely different to how you target a construction company to how you target an accounting firm. Like you said, it's completely different, even if you can service both.
Yeah.
The way that you talk to them is completely different,
Yeah, exactly, because their problems, their pains are different, isn't it? So you need to address their pains, their problems in a different way. You have the skills to solve both pains and problems, but you just need to talk to them in a way that they listen to, okay, this is me as an accountant, or this is me as a manufacturing.
Yeah, and it's also the different platforms as well. So the way that an accountant may receive messages is completely different to a construction company. I'll use that example again. An accountant might like a podcast like this. They might like to sit and listen to it when they're on the train into work, for example, whereas a construction company, they're much more on the go. They like to flick through TikTok, for example. So that's the different type of avenues you've got as well.
Absolutely. But again, if you don't know that, how are you going to market? Isn't it? What marketing are you going to do? So you need to understand those things. So that is normally my initial approach to business owners in terms of marketing, is understand what do you have and what do you want.
And so to find out all of that, that takes time. So I think the biggest mission for business owners is time, isn't it? You probably find,
Yes. Yes, and look, and that I think is going to tap in another skill that I think is very important for business owners. That is delegation. Okay, as a business owner, and this is very difficult for business owners in the beginning, because business owners, they are doers. They like to do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, they like to be involved and put hands on everything. But if they really want to grow their business, they need to realize that, and they need to stop letting go. Okay. And for that, delegation is one of the most important skills that they need to develop. Okay, so they need to surround themselves with people that know about specific things. Okay, and outsourcing is one of the easiest ways for business owners to start scaling their business. Okay, so you can outsource your marketing, you can outsource. Well, most of they outsource the accountants, isn't it? It's something that it's common. Nobody questions about that. But then there's other areas like marketing, for example. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. They don't understand how to do it, but that is the way to do it. It's outsourcing is the way. But knowing how to delegate is very important.
Yeah.
Because when you outsource, you need to make sure that you create a relationship with the company that you're outsourcing, isn't it? They need to feel part of your company. So it's not just, it can't be just a transaction. I'll give you money, you give me leads. It needs to be a little bit more than that, isn't it? So they need to gel together. They need to have this type of culture.
Our kind of philosophy is we like to think if we were sitting in the office with you, what would we be doing? We'd be quickly sending you a text or an email saying, this needs to go up, blah, 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 blah. And you just say, yes, that goes out. Or we'd, ring you up because we need to chat with you. We'd probably walk into your office if we were sitting there. So that's the kind of relationship we try to build with our clients because we know it works.
Yes.
And that's what our clients want. They want to be able to instill that trust in outsourced people, which you can only do by building those relationships.
Exactly. But you see, that is where I think then delegation is very important because when you know how to delegate things, then that trust and that building that relationship comes much more natural. So that is something that I coach a lot of my clients is, how to delegate properly, because what is difficult for them is that the let go.
Yeah.
But when you do the delegation properly, you feel that you still are in control. Okay. And I think that is the key thing for business owners is understanding that they are in control of everything.
Yeah.
They are not just doing stuff.
Just because it's an outsourced company, you're still paying them for the service and you're still in charge of what you want. We might say, we think you should do it a different way. And we're the experts in the field that we're in. So we'll tell you why we think that. But if you want to do something different, then it's totally up to you as a business owner to choose what direction you want to go.
Yeah, but I think so. You are touching something that I think is very, very interesting. That is, so normally the outsourced companies, they are the experts. Okay, but the business owners sometimes they don't take that lightly. And I think it's because they haven't built that trust relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
When you build that, then that barrier drops. And when you come with suggestions, they don't even question. They take it that, okay, yes, because they trust you. And then it's way easier to get results because there's no no conflict. You are both on the same page. You are both trying to achieve the same results.
Yeah, there's no conflict of interest. We're trying to make you better as a business, get you more leads, so then you grow.
Exactly.
And then marketing spend goes up, so then you grow even further. So it helps everyone. I think that's where business owners think some agencies might come in, take the money, spend it all on a certain thing, and that's it. And that's why agency churn is sometimes so high. But with us, we have quite a low churn rate, so we must be doing something right.
Yeah, because you guys are probably building that relationship and that trust with your clients, isn't it? And that is very important.
When businesses are working with outsourced, I think finding the right outsource is really important, and you want them to gel with not just the business owner, but also the other people in the team. So if you've got an internal sales team, for example, and an external marketing team, you want them to be aligned. And I think it's the job as the business owner to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yes.
Because obviously they're not going to be in the same room all the time. So making sure everyone's driving in the same direction is really important, I think.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And it is the business owner job to make sure that that exists. And I think for that is, well, you have always the marketing and sales, isn't it? There's always very competition between the two. It's very easy to the marketing blame the sales guy blame the marketing. So I think that is very typical. But when you do it properly, marketing can be a great asset for sales, and sales can benefit a lot from what marketing does, and the other way around. Marketing can also learn a lot about the existing clients through the sales feedback. So making sure that marketing and sales work together, it's a skill in itself, but the business owner can do that simply by making sure that they have the systems and the processes implemented. Okay, so making sure where marketing starts and when marketing finishes and when it moves into sales and vice versa, and having the systems and the processes implemented make things a lot more easier. Yes, you can have technology that can help all of that, the communication like the Slacks and all of those tools that allow external teams to get together, but the process is what is the most important thing and needs to be on the background.
Yeah, we find with a lot of businesses that we work with, it's the processes where things fall down. And even something as simple as setting up a CRM. I know it sounds silly to say, but quite a lot of businesses haven't got one in place, or not everyone's using it. There is one, but some people don't want to use it because they've never used it before, and it's not the way that they used to do it. And that's where things can fall down. So then it's up to the business owner to instill that in everybody that's working in the same direction.
So that the CRM is a very good example, because like most companies, they don't have one. Sometimes it's just an Excel spreadsheet full of email addresses and stuff that is completely useless. Or when they have one, they're not using whatsoever. Is just normally just a database of contacts, and that's it. So again, it's the process, isn't it? Because sometimes what I notice is business owners, they come to me and say, "Oh, no, I need to implement a CRM," and the first thing I ask is why. Why do you need a CRM? Oh, because my mate also have a CRM. He told me about Salesforce or whatever it is, and he's awesome. And okay, yes, it is awesome, but why do you need a CRM? Do you know your sales process? Do you know your sales cycle? Do you know how many stages in your sales do you have? When things move from one stage to another, and most of the times they look at me blank. They don't know what I'm talking about. And that is when it becomes difficult, because then they implement the CRM, they spend the money on the CRM, but it's not matched to what they do and how they do it. So that's why, again, is very important to define the systems, the processes, the workflows between marketing and between sales, so that you can bring technology to accelerate that. Okay, so one of the things I normally say about technology is like a turbo in an engine. Okay, if you have a good engine and you attach a turbo, that engine is going to be way faster. But if you have a rubbish engine, you attach a turbo, it's going to explode. It's not going
it's
anywhere.
Not going to work.
So technology is a little bit like that. Okay, you have good processes, you have good systems. It will make things easier. You don't have it's clunky, it's annoying, it's just take more time, and people just get I can't be bothered with this.
And it kind of goes without saying, but the business owner doesn't need to know it all inside out. That's where outside help can come in. For business owners, whether that is even people in their own team that know a bit more about the sales process. Whether you've got external sales team, external marketing team, they can all come together and work on those processes. Because one person's idea of a good process is different to somebody else's, and it's finding the right mix, isn't it? Of the two.
Yes, and the business owner should be there to guide them, isn't it? Is sometimes to extract the best of your team, is making sure that they talk to each other, they brainstorm, they come with ideas, and the business owner should be outside just looking at all of that and guide them and say, okay, maybe this doesn't make much sense, let's work on, or that's brilliant, let's go for it. Yes, absolutely. The business owner should be a facilitator, not a doer.
Exactly.
Okay. I think I saw your podcast when you mentioned that business owners should not be doing social. Absolutely. Business owners don't wake up in the morning and go to LinkedIn and do a post. That should be planned.
And it's a time-consuming thing, social media. People think it's just a simple post up, but it's all the time thinking about what you want to say, creating all the assets, creating the copy, making it engaging. That takes a lot of time.
Yes.
And you could be spending that time working on your business processes and pushing that towards making your business better and more successful. If you outsource that or got someone else in the team to do that kind of thing,
yes,
it works so much better.
Yes. And look, other thing, so you touched something about success. Okay. So for me, there's one key thing that is common to anyone that is successful. It doesn't matter if you are a sports, a musician, a business owner, whatever, is consistency. Okay. People that they are consistent at doing something, they will be successful. And with your marketing and sales is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all about being consistent. It's showing up every day. It's doing the things and wait and give time, because things take time to build up. You know, it's a little bit like agriculture, isn't it? You need to plow the earth, put the seed, give water, let it go, and then you will come. And with marketing and sales is the same thing. It's all about the consistency and give time for things to work. And then, yes, pivot, correct, adjust as things go, but give time. Sometimes business owners are too quick to dismiss or say, oh, this is not working, let's pivot.
Especially with the more long-term strategies, for example, SEO, that takes a long time to implement.
Yes.
And you've got to be updating your website constantly throughout that for Google to notice you.
Yes.
And sometimes, business owners think, I want to do SEO.
Yeah.
And we might say, well, if you want to do something quicker, there's different strategies that you can use. If you want to get leads quicker, it might be paid advertising on LinkedIn or Facebook, for example. That way would get you quicker wins.
Yeah.
But if you want to build that audience and build that brand awareness, it's a longer term process.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not about just every single day. For some businesses, that doesn't work. If you said it's every Tuesday and Thursday, for example, people then know to expect that your content's coming. With podcasts, if it's not coming out once a month, if that's what you set it up to be, if you let it drift, then you lose that kind of...
Yeah, that's why I use the word consistent.
Yeah, consistent.
Consistent doesn't mean to be daily.
Yeah.
It's whatever the frequency that you decide to do, but then be consistent with it. You know, if you decide that it's once a week, absolutely, but then do it every week. It's the same thing. If you want to lose weight and want to go to the gym, you need to be consistent, because if you are not consistent, you are not going to get the results. So, but the frequency, it depends, isn't it? It depends of the business. It depends of the campaign that you are doing. Like you said, advertising is completely different than SEO.
Yeah.
So,
So obviously we've touched on how business owners can use outsource to help them save time. Is there any type of technology that business owners can use to help save time?
I'm going to probably be a little bit more generic on answer to your question, because a specific technology depends of the type of the business. Okay, so I think technology generally, it will save you time and money, and we can see that. So it's public, is in the news that the UK economy is not as productive as our counterparts, European, Germans and French. And I think one of the problems that UK companies are not being productive is because they are not investing in technology like the European companies are investing. Okay. I don't really know why is that. I don't have any data to support those things. But my experience by working with other business owners, what I noticed is, especially here in the UK, it's easier to hire someone and throw a person to a problem, because business owners, they can micromanage that person to solve the problem instead of taking time, analyzing what is the problem, setting up the systems and the processes, and then bring the technology to make that happen. Yeah. Okay, so again, is a little bit is the short reward for the long reward. So it's easier to hire someone, fix the problem, because there's a body that is going to solve that, instead of stopping, looking at the bigger picture, and then bring the technology to achieve the results that they want. So but when the companies that they do that, the companies that understand that they bring the technology, then they save a lot of time and money.
So I guess with the technology, there are business owners that own multiple businesses. So you're going to need to invest in technology to do that.
Yes.
What kind of tips do you have for people that have multiple businesses that they're running?
So for me, and I have multiple business. I've running 2 business at the moment. I think well, there's loads of technology that you can use to help you to be more productive. But for me, the main thing is time blocking.
Yeah.
Okay, so time blocking can be a game changer because one of the problems we have nowadays is distractions. Okay, technology can also be a big source of distractions. You have our phones pinging, our emails coming in pinging, someone just send you a message on Slack and you just go off on a tangent. So technology, too much technology can be also a bad thing.
Yeah.
So time blocking for me is the main thing for a business owner, to be in control of his time and to dedicate the right amount of time for the different business is running. Okay. Then yes, of course, you can bring technology and some tools to help you to achieve that. But for me, time blocking is a game changer.
Yeah, and I think you will find you'll have more time to block when you've implemented technology and you've worked with outsourced people, or you've worked with people in your team to get your processes right.
Yes.
And suddenly the time that you need to spend on those things becomes less and less, and then you've got way more time to do the stuff that you actually want to do as a business owner.
Yes. Yeah. And again, this is going to link back to what we talked before, the delegation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you run multiple business, you need to be a master in delegation. You need to be very comfortable with delegation. And then you just need to link with some key people in your business or with your providers to make sure that that everything is running.
So obviously for business owners, when they've got more time, that means they can start investing in their own personal brand, which I know that you are a massive advocate for.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how personal branding helps business owners.
So first, I think people buy from people. So brands, they need to have a face attached to it. And you have big examples of that, Nike is Michael Jordan, George Clooney, Nespresso. So the big brands do that also. In small business is even more important because, the small business, they are not known worldwide, isn't it? Yeah. So your face needs to be the brand of the company. Yes, absolutely. Have a nice logo, have a nice website, but you should be the ambassador of your company. What I call the key person of influence. Yeah. So you need to have that approach, and that personal branding is extremely important. Okay, and personal branding is not just social media. Yes, social media is important. You need to be on social media. You need to be, out there. But there's a lot of other things that you can do. You can do presentations. You can do webinars. You can do you can do podcasts.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a lot of other things that make you be out there and make you relatable, make you personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then people will buy from you.
Exactly.
Because they will see your values, they will see your personality, and when we see that, we just buy from.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of business owners might be scared to make that first jump where they suddenly become visible.
Yes.
Because it's easy to shrink into the background of your own business. Some people don't want to do it, which is when you can get people to do it for you, whether that's through like influencer marketing or something.
Yes.
Something like that. Or someone else in your business might want to champion it. But I think it is important that there is a face of the business, especially on the smaller business scale, because it could be you in the meeting, and the way that you portray yourself on social media should match the way that you portray yourself in real life. So I think that's very important as well. So what are your top 3 tips, would you say, for people that are first starting out their personal brand?
Okay. So I think that the first thing is, like you said, is breaking that fear of expose yourself. Okay. And I think business owners, they need to understand that they don't need to expose impose themselves. They just need to be out there. Okay, they are in control of what they are saying. You know, they don't need to. It's not like the Kardashians. You know, no one is going to see what you're doing from morning to go to bed.
Yeah.
You can control what are you putting out there. So that is the first thing, is break that fear of being out there. Also, I know that a lot of business owners, they are quite introvert people, and they don't feel comfortable doing these things. Start small. Okay, start with something that you don't need to put your face on. For example, start with a newsletter. You know, write some articles. Then also on social media, choose a platform that matches your personality. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't like to film yourself, don't go for TikTok, because, you know, it's not going to work. Maybe go for LinkedIn, which is a little bit more, you know,
A bit
professional,
more
formal. You know, you need to find the things that they work for you, and start small. Okay. I think the big thing is sometimes the business owners, I need to be on all social media platforms, and no, just, you know, one step at a time. Do one thing. So, for example, presentations, if they are not used to speak in public, start with a webinar. You know, a 30 minutes webinar, something to make you more comfortable. You know, even if people join, if 100 people join to the webinar, you are not in front of 100 people. It's just a screen. So you get some you know, some experience to start getting a little bit more comfortable. So I think that is probably the key thing, is start small, and you know, and then push a little bit yourself. Get yourself out of your comfort zone, because if you don't get out of your comfort zone, you're not going to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think for personal branding as well, especially when you're first starting out, you're not expected to know everything about it, and that's where people can come in and help you do it. Especially if it's on a platform that you've never used before. Even just setting out what you want the brand for yourself to be is something that we could help with, because everyone's different. The way that one person does their personal brand is going to be completely different to somebody else, as you said.
Yes, exactly. And look, it's a little bit like ghostwriting, isn't it? Sometimes companies like yourselves can do that for the business owner. The business owner doesn't need to write everything. You know, you guys can see his tone of voice, the way that he expresses himself, and I'm pretty sure you guys can write in a similar style for him, or he can just give you like bullet points and his ideas, and you guys can go and create the content for them.
Because in a way, it's no different to working with the business as a whole. That's why it's called personal branding. Is personal branding, business branding. It's the same kind of thing.
Yes.
It's just on a smaller scale with one person as the face of it, as opposed to the whole business.
Yes.
And I think something else that's important is your business's values and stuff should align with your personal brand as well, because when there's that disconnect, a lot of people can be like, why is he or she the face of that brand? Because they talk completely differently in a completely different way to their business.
Yes. So that is something that you're absolutely right, is very important. And again, an external company like yourselves can advise on that, and making sure that the two messages are aligned, isn't it? And also, I think personal brand, it doesn't mean that you are just going to share personal things. It's also it can be business related. Is your ideas, is your views of things, is your opinion. So that are things I think are very important. It's not like if you like English breakfast for breakfast or not. Is your opinions and your ideas on your industry. That is what people value nowadays, isn't it? Because then you are personalizing the message.
You will kind of want to become a thought leader in the industry that you're in. I mean, if you've got a successful business to back you up behind that, it helps.
Yes.
And I think both go hand in hand in that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it goes without saying that if you have a strong personal brand, that then supports the marketing for your business anyway, because they're linked. We say to a lot of business owners, you should be sharing everything that goes out on your business pages and adding a little comment or sharing it or liking it, just to show that you are engaged and that you're passing on that message to your followers, because people who follow you might not follow your business as well. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So that I think basically what you're saying is the part of the engagement, isn't it? Yes. So being out there on social media is not just posting, isn't it? Is engaging with your company posts and also with other posts, isn't it? Because that is sometimes when you get the exposure, is when you engage with other people that are outside your network. Then they will see, especially if they like you, they will probably come back to check what you do, what your company does. So that is it's very important also, is the engagement.
Yeah, because you see a lot of people, especially on LinkedIn, is probably the biggest platform for it. People that aren't connected to other people, just chatting in the comment sections of other posts. They could take that into the direct messages, and next thing you know, it's a bit of business. So it is a lead generation as well.
Yeah.
But building networks is obviously important for business owners.
Yeah. It's the relationship, isn't it? Is just because it's online, it's not different than you are in a room with a lot of people. You just need to go out there and talk to them.
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just talking things that they're not even business related. They are personal, isn't it? And that can be the beginning of a conversation of getting to know each other, and and that leads to business.
Yeah, it's all about the relationship, and I think that's where this whole conversation has gone. It's about building the best relationships with the experts in the certain fields that you want to pursue, so you can delegate. Then you've got more time to build your business.
Yes, absolutely.
So, final question, Nuno. We have asked everyone so far on this podcast that's come on. What's been your career highlight so far?
Okay. Well, I think I have a few highlights, and especially because I've done a lot of different things. I worked on corporate. I have my own business, but there's something that I'm quite proud, and I think I will think is going to be my highlight. Is the apprentice that I took in. Okay, and you are a good example of that. So for the 12 years that I've run the Clear IT, I think I got 8-9 apprentices working with me. And that is very rewarding, seeing, in my case, it was just boys, because IT is quite a male dominant industry, unfortunately. But see these young boys, 18, 20 years old, coming in very shy, very insecure some of the times, and then learning, and me being able to, to understand them, pass them, coach them, is something that is very rewarding. And now I can see some of them in great jobs.
There's been a few recently, haven't there?
Yes, exactly. Even yourself, you are interviewing me here now. So that for me is probably one of the most rewarding things, and one of my highlights of my career.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Nuno. Thanks for coming in.
That's right.
Great to chat.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.